So, how you enjoying American Horror Story? Whoo, baby, how's it going? It is just, it's cooking along. Last night was the third or fourth episode. I think it's the fourth. And things are happening. I know I'm sorry I haven't been coming on every week. I've been super busy. 'Tis the season, it's the season of the witch and all. And we just had Thanksgiving. So I don't have notes because I want to do this particular report off the top of my head. I meant to come on last night right after I saw the show, but so I'm really enjoying this season. One thing about this season is I think Ryan Murphy has been listening to the fans and listening to the critics about how a lot of the seasons there were too many storylines, too many things happening, and then we never got the resolution that we really wanted. I think back to Freak Show, where in my mind, it was always Dandy's story, but since they had Jessica Lange there, they always had to keep going to her and her stuff because it's Jessica Lange. But in fact, Freak Show was pretty much Dandy's story. We meet him in the beginning. He's a normal rich kid and goes through and we see that he is the monster, he is the freak by the end of the show. No matter what other storylines and characters you were following, I really believe Freak Show was Dandy's story, and then and Dandy's family does recur in other seasons of American Horror Story. And I would not be surprised at all, coming to the current story, if Cody Fern's character isn't related to Dandy in some way. Now, I don't know how clever the writers are and so on, but we do know that, at least historically, different seasons connect to different seasons before it, and the timeline is all over the place. Right now, we're in 1984. And we haven't really seen 1984-ish stuff as in the George Orwell book, but we have seen definitely the Summer of the Slasher film. This is a very 80s season. It's shot very 80s. It looks very 80s. The costumes, the clothes, the camera angles, the colors, the way the camera follows the characters, the way we peek out through corners and stuff. It's very 80s style of filmmaking and character development and so on. So last night, Cody, the week before, Cody had been put in the oven. It's put in the oven, and this is what's bothering me. I have to just get this off my chest first. So Cody Fern, our beautiful, handsome Cody, who was the Antichrist last season in Apocalypse. He was Antichrist Michael. Now he's Jim Dude, and I forget his name. And he was put in the oven, but he didn't die. And he has burns, and he was in that oven for a while. And I know it's TV and I know it can't get too gross, but my God, he would be so much more burned than that. He would be dripping and pussing. And even though I know he just got out of the oven, and usually burns take a couple of days to really get pussy and disgusting, um, he's not as pussy and disgusting as he should be. And he, the pain, him dude with the jock with the stake through his body, he landed on the stake. That all these people should be like really in serious pain, and they're not. They're not. Cody's running with an axe after what's her face, the psychiatrist, pretend nurse person who let Jingles out of the insane asylum. Already, we're losing a little bit of momentum here because they're saying Mr. Jingles never killed anyone, but and it was always the camp counselor. I'm not sure that's true either. However, I have to say Dude playing Richard Ramirez. He's this is my new season hottie. Every season I have to get a hottie. He's mine this time. Oh boy, every time he comes on, the camera loves him. He's smoldering, and he plays that role very well. And I love how he has the deal with the devil, and he's dead, and he's alive, and he's floating, and he's seductive, and evil, and creepy, and he's got it all going on. That's my favorite character this season, and that actor is doing a magnificent job. Now, I still love Cody Fern, don't get me wrong, but Cody's not the big bad this time. And then we have Emma, Emma Roberts, who I love, love, love. You know, I was in love with her dad for years, or her uncle, no, her dad. Yeah, Eric Roberts, right? Eric Roberts is Psychopath 101. So, you know, it's nice to see Emma Roberts carrying on the tradition, even though in this particular story so far, she's not a psychopath at all. She's actually the virgin. She lost her virginity last night, or did she, since the guy she slept with was already dead because his head was in the fridge. Hey, they stole that from one of my books. No. And yeah, his head was in the fridge, which they found after she had sex with him her very first time. So I don't know. Does that count? Is she still a virgin? I don't know. And I do like how, you know, again, like I said, we're not in a million directions. We even though we have a couple of little offshoots, they're not like totally in outer space, literally like Asylum was, where they actually had space aliens, which we've never come back to. Um, and I thought actually Apocalypse was going to bring in the space aliens. You know, when they kept playing "Calling Occupants from Interplanetary Craft," which is one of my favorite Klaatu songs, and they never really followed up with that theme back in Apocalypse. But anyways, now we're in, now we're into the 1984. So it's really basic summer slashing movie, and I'm loving it. Billy Lord is killing it. Although I hated her wig last night. I don't know what happened to her wig. I don't know if it got washed and now it's all frizzy and gross. Her wig looked better before. Now it really looks like a wig. And maybe it's supposed to. Maybe that's part of the thing. And she is, oh my God, she is such a good actress. She has, you know, she didn't used to be a good actress. You know, I did love her in Scream Queens, but she wasn't the best. And even in Star Wars, not the best. Um, but now, and I hope she's in Rise of Skywalker a lot, because I know they featured her a little bit in The Last Jedi, and I really hope she has a big role in Rise of Skywalker. Maybe make her Princess Leia's daughter. And so she does, seeing her, oh, I'm gonna get weepy now, but channeling her mother and her grandmother, because I was a huge Debbie Reynolds fan, a huge Carrie Fisher fan, obviously, and just how hard it must be for her to continue on after the double death, like within a day. You know, Carrie Fisher died of a drug overdose, and then her mom dropped dead the next day because she couldn't let, you know, Carrie needs her. And they always thought that Debbie Reynolds lived as long as she did because Carrie needed something to do, someone to focus on, though they had a love-hate thing their whole lives. Both amazingly wonderfully talented women, and Billy Lord has definitely inherited all of that. You know, Eddie Fisher as well, I guess, and so much talent, and she's really growing into it. I figure she's what, in her late 20s now, and definitely growing. Her little smirks, her little asides, um, her cadence. For a while, back when she was doing Scream Queens and stuff, she kind of had like the cadence that her mother had in the 70s and the Star Wars movies, and now she's making it her own. She's making parts more her own instead of kind of mimicking what, you know, like that, oh, like I have Carrie Fisher ears, you know. But yeah, Billy Lord is killing it. I love her. And I said it before, I love how they made Billy the bad girl and Emma the virginal girl, because it's usually the other way around, right? So both those girls are really stretching their chops. And yeah, and so we're having how many serial killers do we have? We have Mr. Jingles. We have the Night Stalker. We have Blondie, camp counselor lady, who was the original thing. We have the psychiatrist nurse person, and oh, and the dad of that person, Billy Lord, is gonna be a serial killer if she isn't already. She's really getting off on these killings. Yeah, man, like what's that? Six serial killers. I love how near the end of last night's episode they did the homage to Hotel, where the one character, the one whose head is in the fridge, he tried to leave on the bus and he couldn't leave. He couldn't leave past the gates. He got flown back, just like Sarah Paulson in Hotel, and anyone who tried to leave Hotel who was a ghost couldn't actually leave. They got bounced back in. However, even though we know the Night Stalker is dead and Mr. Jingles is now dead because he got a million arrows in him, like the Ten of Swords card in the tarot deck, um, even though they're both dead, they both made deals with the devil. No, we saw Night Stalker dude praying to the devil a few times. Plus, he was in Hotel when they had the Devil's Night scene, so he's come from Hotel as well. And then now Mr. Jingles is dead, and he helped Mr. Jingles make a deal with the devil. We saw last night. So meanwhile, even though these kids that have been killed by the serial killers, no matter who killed them, they can't leave the camp. These two gentlemen can, because they made their deals with the devil, I would assume. That's why they're driving a cop car. Boom. They're on the road in a cop car. God knows what's going to happen next. So it's wonderfully exciting, wonderfully fun, wonderfully focused. We haven't gone off the rails yet. We still know what's happening. We still are engaged with our characters. Although, like I said, some parts are quite unrealistic because we do have people running around with burns and stuff, and they somehow don't have pain anymore. I guess the adrenaline's so high that the pain is overridden. Anyways, what do you think about this season of American Horror Story? Are you into it? Do you like the summer camp serial killer? Everyone's a serial killer. Yeah, don't look now. Everyone's a serial killer or loves to be killed or wants to kill or and now we'll probably now that we're leaving the camp. And then, oh yeah, and then also what was fun last night was just as the camp bus pulls up with all the children ready for summer camp after we've had all these last few episodes of mayhem and murder, and all these innocents are coming to the camp just in time to see Emma Roberts repeatedly stabbing Billy Lord in self-defense, as we as the watchers know. But all they saw was a woman stabbing another woman. And of course, Billy Lord's a ghost now, too. And the camp counselor lady, the Christian lady, the lady who bought the camp, who was the sole survivor from the previous slaughter, which now supposedly she did all the slaughtering, not Mr. Jingles, she has pointed the finger at Emma Roberts, too, saying that she's the one who did it. So Emma's being arrested, but she's not going to get very far because Mr. Jingles and the Night Stalker are driving around in the cop car. So, anyways, let me know what you think and have a great day.